Be done in 2 months.
Well, I figured was gonna be there. There he is.
And I will be there. I will be online.
Friday morning?
Absolutely.
I'll send the link.
For changing.
Grand Forks County Commission will come to order. All commissioners are present. The first matter is the approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Motion by Ross, second by Knopf. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Approval of the order of the agenda. Mr. Ross.
Mr. Chair, I would like to add the county engineer Nick West at 5B.
Might be 5A. I swear it is. Okay, we have a motion to add Nick West. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. West is added. Approval of the consent agenda. Does anyone have any items they'd like pulled?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Engen. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda is passed and we're moving to Grand Sky. Mr. Ford, are you representing Grand Sky today?
Mr. Chairman, I might be.
Brad
Mr.
Gerken is on the phone.
Oh, there he is. Wonderful. All right.
Good afternoon, commissioners.
Oh, you don't have your name up. It's just a telephone. So thank you for being here, Mr. Sawyer.
Actually, this is Mr. Gerken.
Oh, Mr. Gerken, great. Oh, what have you got
Good
for us?
afternoon. Today I'm asking for authority to award alternative bid quantities as a modification to a contract that we awarded in 2020 to opt for apron pavement repair projects. In that original contract, we bid out both base quantities and alternative bid quantities. And at the time, we only awarded the base quantities, and we did not have funds available at the time to award the additional alternative quantities at that time. So today, I am asking to have the authority to award the additional bid items for that apron repair, pavement repair project. There is adequate budget within the 2021 state allocated funds to accomplish this project. And it is to continue our work in repairing the 20 some odd acres of concrete that we have as our apron to the runway.
And just a
Any
question.
questions?
Yeah, apparently OP is willing to honor that bid.
Yes, my conversations with them indicated that that would be the case.
Okay, that's all I needed to hear.
That's
Any-
56,000, is that it?
Yeah, it looks, Mr. Gerken, 156,000, is that the amount?
That is the amount. That's the amount for the alternative bid at that time, and I'm assuming that's the only amount that I can
Yeah.
award at this time.
Right, okay. Any other questions or comments? Any comment from you, Mr. Ford?
No, Mr. Chairman, it's all looks fine and definitely qualifies for the EUL development grant.
Anyone want to make a motion to approve?
I would so move, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Peach. Second by Commissioner Knopf. Any further discussion on this matter? Ross, yeah. Did they say Knopf? Ross.
We kind of look alike.
Yeah, no, hearing no further discussion, all in favor, I guess we have discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Gerken. Anything else from you today?
Thanks. Nothing else. Thank you, commissioners.
Okay. Mr. West, you're next. I think we kind of requested you to show up, so we'll give deference to you today.
Oh. Yeah, well, thank you. Chairman, Falk, members of the board. Got one request and one kind of thing I'd like to run by the board and it's an update. Still battling flooding. County Road 18 still underwater, it's been about a month now, underwater. Crazy. County Road 11, we just opened up again today. 5 is still under, 33 is still under. We had started some repair work. And then last week on some of these roads, and then it went under again this weekend, and it's crazy. I don't know, getting pretty tiring and
Well, and I
exhausted.
saw where it's supposed to rain. I thought it was just, yeah, but it's like the next 2 or 3 days.
Mhm.
Thursday's like 95%.
It's ugly. Yeah. So, yeah, started adding up, well, I got, I don't know, 60 some flood sites. Some of them are as simple as water went over the road and blade, you put one load of gravel back, they're done. To full, a culvert washout. So far, we haven't had any bridges washed out, we're lucky that way. Although I was joking with the crew, it's maybe if, one of these junk bridges kind of washed away, that we get FEMA to pay 85% of the new bridge. Not seriously, but anyway, yeah, so we're battling that and we're easily gonna meet the county minimum for FEMA. It's 300,000 for us. I got 23 of my sites. I started putting them in the spreadsheet today and putting estimated cost to them at 240,000. And I got about a third or half of them in there. And then we don't even know what some of the other ones are yet. So, and then we have 7 townships have reported so far, and they're at about 249,000. So we're easily over 300,000, no problem. So hopefully we get a FEMA declaration to help us rebuild some things. Otherwise, I don't know what will happen. So, and we'll see. That was, commission declared their declaration a couple months ago. The state, Bergen, did his. So now it's waiting for FEMA to President Biden to sign off on it. So hopefully they will. They have in the past. I don't know why they wouldn't this time. Kind of counting on it. So we'll see. Hopefully in the next couple weeks we know. The one formal request I have before you is the water board got a grant to pave the access road in the Fordville Dam. I think it's about 1,300 feet from County Road 10 to the entrance. It pays up to 60% of the grant, up to 30,000. The water board will pay the matching funds. It won't cost the highway department or the other county general fund any money, but the commission as a whole has to be the intermediary for the agreement. And they just sent this to us a few days ago. And the only reason I'm pushing, I didn't have it on the agenda because I didn't have it in time, / Knife River wants to pave first part of June. And our next meeting is June 7th, and we just wouldn't have time. So I was hoping the board would consider signing the agreement for Chairman Falk and Ms. Nelson to sign.
That's a document I sent to you to ask about what it is. It's from Pam Linger, and it is.
Exactly. Yes. So that's my request.
Quick question. What you're asking for is approval to accept that grant, and the cost will be taken care of through, not through the highway department budget, but through the water board and the grant.
Correct.
We just need to approve that, and the funds will go through our account. Is that how it works?
Correct. Pass through.
I'll make a motion to approve that request to accept that grant and the condition.
Thank you.
I'll second it with chair's signature.
Yes, good idea.
Nelson.
And yes, I'll second.
Okay. Any further discussion on this matter? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Approved.
Thank you. My one,
We have a document, or we have to sign online?
Online.
So that email that you got 2 days ago, yeah, just signed.
All right.
Then Commissioner Polk, when you sign it, then it'll go to Ms. Nelson for signature.
Yeah.
It's a series.
Yeah.
Okay,
And you
all
have
right.
to go first.
Okay.
So I'm in a little bit of a bind with our construction engineering on the paving project because we've waited too long to do our interviews for engineers, and Knife River wants to start early June, which is in 2-3 weeks. We do have interviews scheduled for Friday. Finally got that. I was gonna do it a month ago, but I got hammered and it just got away from me. I've been totally swamped ever since and stressed and haven't even thought about paving. But so it's federal aid pays for 80% of the construction engineering and the county pays for 20%. We're budgeted. That's not the problem. The problem is getting contracts and approvals done in time so the engineer can start when the contractor wants to start. So crest to the board would be as if we have a selection committee. Friday we'll interview. It's Commissioner Beach. We have Dustin Lang at the DOT, myself and Scott Lang in our office. The 4 of us will be on the selection committee. We make a recommendation that the board would need to approve. Is there any chance, like Monday or Tuesday, we could have a quick online meeting or something to review that and get approval?
Yeah, that should be fine, I think.
Sure.
Yes.
Getting a lot of nods here, so yeah, we'll work it out here. Let me see. Does anybody have a let's leave it open, but does anybody have a conflict
Monday or Tuesday?
Monday or Tuesday?
No.
Should be fine.
You let us know and we'll have Ms.
Okay.
Nelson set it up. And
That would be awesome. Thank you for bailing me out on that. So
thank you for
We're done
everything.
by, excuse me, we're done by noon on Friday.
we are.
Do you want to do it at 1 on Friday?
Oh, boy, yeah.
Well, I'm just thinking
Yeah.
if commissioners would be available Friday.
That's a good point. That'd be awesome. And I could send all that stuff to DOT Friday and
Mr. Chair, I had sent a note to, maybe we need a special meeting for the construction manager at risk contract.
Yeah,
And perhaps we could kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
that would be fine. Would that be ready on Friday?
Yes, I just need to send everything to the commission, which I can do now. So it's ready.
What time will you be ready on Friday? 1 o'clock?
1 o'clock would be awesome.
Let's do it at 1 o'clock on Friday.
Just do it Zoom or
Yeah, we'll have, Mr. Ford, can you send out a Zoom for everybody?
I can do that. Yes, sir.
Great.
well, that would be great. Wow.
There's enough time to set that special meeting in there.
Friday.
The new Northwood Bridge should be open by the end of the week. Barring rain.
And
Rain keeps
go ahead
putting it
and-
back and putting it back but yeah, that's pretty awesome too. Some good news. Project going good.
Okay, we'll see you Friday. Yes.
Do you have any thoughts on, might we have any bridges that maybe have washed out underneath or anything? When do we check those?
You know, lots of bridges that have had washouts behind them that so usually how they show up is they get reported by someone. General public or township supervisors are usually aware of what's going on in the township. We do have Scott in our office. That's what he's been doing all week, just inspecting, looking for things. So we do have a measure, you know, trying to inspect when the water goes down, get some eyes on it right away. So,
It's just that you said that we didn't lose any bridges, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, have we looked under them yet? But, or, you know, or have we been able to because of the high water?
we try to as soon as we can.
Culvert damage.
We don't
probably.
want any.
A lot of over damage.
But
It's One at a time, it's like anything. Any other questions?
Thank you.
That's all I have, thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Evans,
Afternoon, Chair and Commissioners. Nicole Evans with the Small Business Development Centers to give my my thing for what we've been up to. 2021 had a lot of changes to it. So in a minute, I'll introduce Greg, because he's going to be the other half of what we were doing with the program this last year. I laid a folder on your desks, and inside on the left-hand panel is our annual report as far as the network is has for our details. Just a few things to kind of point out, page 6 and 7. That is the overall look of the state of North Dakota for what SBDC did for providing the no-cost confidential business advising services. And in the right-hand side, you'll see the Grand Forks impacts alone. So, of course, the numbers are going to look a lot different. But what we did was we took what we just focused on as far as the Grand Forks area and some of the surrounding areas. Another few things we did is we've upgraded some of our branding. You'll notice success stories throughout this annual report. We do have one for Grand Forks Heating. And get to know a little bit about the advisors and some testimonials. So that's kind of what's new in our annual report this time. You'll get a little bit more data, a little bit more information, kind of things that are a little more personal. With the impacts for Grand Forks, impacts are something that if somebody starts a business or receives capital formation, you collect what's called an impact. Sometimes these are hard to receive. So these numbers are based off of what I was able to collect for 2021. Moving into 2022, the good news is I've been able to collect about 6.6 million in capital infusion. That's what we do when we help businesses receive money from the lenders, BDCs, GDAs, and then the jobs that are through. So far this year, we've had 149 total clients come through our door, which is amazing. And we've had some 6.6 million in that capital formation. So we're off to a great start for our first couple of quarters of 2022, and people are still coming through the doors, which is a great thing to see. And hopefully there'll be more towards Grand Forks and other areas this year. I'm going to have Greg introduce to you some of the other things that SBDC has been up to, because we've been just kind of crazy everywhere, which is awesome. But before I leave, questions for me on the program or? A lot of numbers, a lot of data. So the Grand Forks one, there's going to be two. One's going to say Grand Forks CARES Act, and then one's going to say Grand Forks. And so Greg is going to talk about the CARES Act side of things, because we had such a client overload last year that we had Greg take over the CARES Act types of things so we could service all businesses on every level. So we wanted to make sure we broke it down and kind of let you see both sides of what that looked like. And then also too, page 16 of the booklet as well will be the CARES Act side of things. So you can see there's a lot of jobs supported, client advised, 6.6 million client capital formation. So try to keep out and this business is still running. My favorites. Any other questions? So hopefully I'll be back by year end to give you an update of where we're sitting from that 6.6 million, because that's huge for me. Like that was a hoorah. So because they're hard to get sometimes, but thank you so much for the support of our SBDC program. I really appreciate it. Thank you for all you do. Yes, thank you. Thank you. And I'll let Greg tell you a little bit about some of the other new stuff we're doing.
Thanks, Paul. Good evening, Chairman Paul, County Commissioners. Greg Srup with North Dakota Small Business Development Centers. I am the CARES Program Director, so specifically I've been supporting businesses on the programs related to PPP, payroll protection program, EIDL, economic injury disaster loan, shuttered venue operators grants, and a number of other programs such as ERG, which is an economic resiliency grant, which came from the state of North Dakota, and then local programs such as the C-Run, which is COVID relief unmet needs. So that's the majority, I would say, where I've spent my time. And then as Nicole mentioned, a couple other programs that are notable that we've been working on. So launched about this time last year is a online marketplace for all North Dakota businesses. And certainly there's a strong contingent from Grand Forks County. It's kind of where we started. The people that we were already working with and knew, since I was kind of coordinating that to help us test it out. So that's an online marketplace for North Dakota businesses. And basically any North Dakota business, it's free to utilize. There's no listing fees. It's compatible or integratable with other types of online shopping resources such as Square or Shopify, for example. And so that's been a great resource for businesses who have been maybe having a difficult time due to COVID restrictions or concerns. Allows them to utilize an e-commerce channel in addition to any brick and mortar channels, or many of these businesses, for example, focused on trade shows or farmers markets, and again, a large contingent that are private Dakota businesses as well. So really meant to support those. And then the other notable program that we're launching imminently will actually hit the ground this week. It's taken us about a year between supply chain things and coordinating logistics and getting the correct software and things of that nature, but we're launching what's called a virtual access center. So it's basically an all-in-one PC printer, and these will go in rural communities such as Oaks. We'll have some north of Bismarck as well. Those are the two we're launching this week. But basically to allow anybody who's in a rural area to be able to not have to travel all the way to, say, Grand Forks or Bismarck or wherever one of our advisors are, to utilize our resources and meet with an advisor. And so these devices are set up in a way where they're super easy to use. So they're very friendly, user-friendly in that regard. So we're very excited to have that in the field. And I would say both of those programs so far have been very well received. So we're pretty excited about having resources like that. And the last thing I'll mention is, and this is more to Nicole's credit than anything, is some of the impacts that you see, such as the financing that we assisted with. Not all of it gets captured within those numbers. There's certainly things that happen outside of what's actually reported that we don't necessarily get to count because maybe the client hasn't came back to us and told us that they've received funding. So certainly there's some work that's or data maybe that's being missed as part of that. Because I know Nicole's been working with a number of businesses and really impactful in what she does. So, any questions for myself?
Any questions?
Awesome. Well, thanks again for all the support. I appreciate it.
Thanks for all your work.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
thank you very much.
Thanks.
Mr. Magnuson.
Yes, Chairman Paul, members of the commission, I have one item today. It is a request by Otter Power Company to amend their special use permit to allow an expansion of an existing substation, which is in section 8 of Elm Grove Township. The subject property is a 2.69 acre parcel of land with an existing substation located on it. The county is the owner of the property, and it is actually part of a county road 11 right of way. It is also, in addition, it's located near the intersection of 23rd Avenue Northeast and County Road 11. The rural municipality of McCann is located a half mile to the east. Otherwise, surrounding land uses are rural residences and agricultural lands. Under the land use plan, it's located within our agricultural area. The special use permit does conform to the goals and policies. Under our zoning resolution, it's located within A1 Agricultural Preservation District. Substations are listed as a special use in that zoning district. As far as the background, as I said, the applicants are proposing to expand the existing substation in order to handle the additional load for the new McCann fertilizer plant. applicants submitted a project narrative and site plan, which is attached, that explains the request in further detail. Otter Power is currently in the process of purchasing the parcel from the county as it is currently leased and has been in the past. Substation would continue to utilize the access to 23rd Avenue Northeast, which is a township road. Elm Grove Township recommended approval with no comments. County Highway Engineers also recommended approval with no comments. As far as staff comments, the site plan indicates that all the proposed infrastructure will remain clear of the existing and future 75-foot county road right away and the 33-foot township road easement. Other than that, staff has no concerns. The planning commission recommended approval at their May 10th meeting, and I would recommend approval also.
Any questions? Someone would make a motion?
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
I would move approval of the special use permit request of Otter Power Company.
for the substation in the northeast quarter of section 8 Movie Township.
Yes.
Perfect.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you.
Juvenile detention.
Good afternoon, Chairman Falk and members of the commission. First of all, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Robin Spain and I'm Bridgie Hanson's successor as the administrator of the Juvenile Detention Center. We are here today to request approval in the amount of $42,460.10 to purchase new radios for the juvenile detention facility. This price, as you can see from the information that I submitted, is for 1 base station, 2 mobile radios, and 5 portable radios. This would also include installation fees. We would also be reimbursed $1,500 per radio, totaling $12,000 in money back. So after this, the cost would be $28,761.90 for the radios and $1,698.20 for the installation.
And just a little background, I think Commissioner Ross told me before the meeting that we were looking at budgeting this in 2023.
Correct.
But we have a new vehicle there that one of these radios is going in and they're not compatible, so we need to move forward. And I think Ms. Nelson said we have money from ARPA for it, so it's a good project.
Yeah. Juvenile detention got the emergency manager's old vehicle and it had a VHF radio in it. No sense putting that, the juvenile VHF radio into that vehicle when it's going to be required to have the 800 trunking at some point in time. So I thought we should just move on it now. So.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I do have a question. When is the last time that we did anything with radios for those vehicles?
We haven't. We
haven't.
haven't done anything. The new series radios came in through the 911 center and they said they gave us a 5-year window in which to go ahead with these because we would get a $1,500 reimbursement back. I didn't budget for this year just because we had other expenses coming forward for this year and we had our pre and so forth. So then when we got the vehicle, putting the old radio in and, having to pay the installation we're not compatible. So Bob said, hey, there might be
a federal requirement.
Yeah.
For that 800 trunking system.
Yeah.
They are the only department that does not have these radios.
Right now.
So corrections has got them, sheriff's got them, so.
And we're using ARPA funds?
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, yes, I would suggest using ARPA funds. The category that I would suggest is revenue loss. We can use up to $10 million from that. We have made that selection to use up to $10 million for revenue loss, and it can be used for any government purpose. So that's what I would suggest.
Okay. So what is the total, Robin, that you're looking for?
The total would be $42,460.10.
Okay,
And then
I would make that motion that we take the money out of ARPA in the tune of $42,460.10 to purchase those radios.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Engen. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Anything else, Ms. Payne?
that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Welcome. Yes.
Mr. Dershowski.
Commissioners, Chairman Folk, thank you for the opportunity to present this information. To start with, I have on the schedule, on the agenda, 3 proposals from Johnson Controls for the new chiller that we have installed on the roof of the top. The 3 proposals consist of a planned service agreement for annual renewal, the extended warranty option, should the commission desire to proceed with that, and then screen protection for the chiller to protect from cottonwood seeds and essentially bird netting from pigeons nesting in there, as is always a problem, was a problem in the old chiller. The information as follows: the land service agreement, which I'd be able to absorb out of the service agreement budget existing for buildings and grounds. That is $4,810 for the annual agreement on that. If the commission desires to proceed with that, as we have other service agreements already with Johnson Controls, if the commission wishes to proceed, which for chair signature, and that can be paid for out of service agreements within buildings and grounds budget. The next one would be the Cottonwood Screens. That is a $16,570 add to the new chiller installed up there that protects the chiller from ingesting cottonwood seeds during the June-July cotton bloom that we have from all the trees along the river, and also prevents pigeons from nesting internally in the compressor and heat exchanger coils in the chiller. And that would be, as discussing with Ms. Nelson, that could be paid from capital improvement, and if the commission desires to proceed with that. My personal feeling on that is they are very much worthwhile. Most new chillers being installed currently, if within other entities, especially in Fargo and in Grand Forks, where there's a heavy cottonwood growth development along riverways, most are being installed with them because they've proven to be worth their weight in the expense in protecting the investment on the equipment from wear and tear. And that would be to request chair signature and Ms. Nelson's signature for the approval of that proposal. And last but not least is the extended warranty option. Johnson Controls has presented 4 options to us, varying from $9,850 to $33,405. The $33,405 is truly best bang for the buck. It gives us a 10-year warranty on the new chiller that was a $430,000 investment on the roof. Gives us 10 years after the 1-year warranty is up, full service, other than if a crane was required to do service work on this chiller in that 10-year window of time. Crane service would be extra. Otherwise, all controls, compressors, motors, pumps, fans on the chiller would be covered for 10 years for that $33,405 minus the, or in addition to that cost, any time that they would have to bring a crane on site to pick, lift and lower anything if any work is needed. That would be additional to this $33,000 contract. that too would be paid for capital improvements with chair signature and Ms. Nelson's signature on this contract. So the commission desires to proceed with those. Any questions?
Any questions from the commission?
Yeah, will these be three motions or can be three separate motions?
I've got a question. Did the last chiller last us since this building was built approximately 20 years?
The original chiller in place was 23 years old. Yes. 3 compressors were installed on it in the ownership of that chiller. The last compressor that we paid to replace was $56,000 plus crane time.
Those probably occurred though after 10 years is my guess.
They did.
I'm just wondering about the warranty. It's pretty expensive, but we have one problem. That's going to pay for it.
A little bit of education on this chiller with efficiencies on the machines. Our old chiller had 4 compressors. Our new chiller has 2, same capacity, 330 ton of cooling power up on the roof. So the one compressor failing would be essentially twice of what one compressor was on the old one, simply because it's twice as big.
So it'd be like buying 2 of the old ones.
Correct.
Okay. You should sell these for these guys.
Extended warranties are one of those things. It's pay me now or pay me later. Oftentimes pay me later does become more expensive. Pay me now is maybe you'll use it, maybe you won't, you don't know, but you want, it's like buying a new car. If you buy a new car, do you buy extended warranty for the assurance of not having repair bills after the OEM warranty is off? That's a decision that we're leaving in your hands.
Okay.
Decide.
Commissioner Reagan.
You mentioned that this would come out of capital improvements, or that's what you suggest. Debbie, how does that sit?
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, we have $1.2 million left in capital improvements for this year.
Might be the long range warranty money lost that.
Yeah, and I agree fully with the screens up there. It's, and those of us have air conditioning, we see how those problems occur, so.
Yeah, these screens are a bit more than what you might be thinking of as a window screen. They're an industrial netting that goes on to keep birds and wildlife. A lot of times chillers are put on the ground, so they're to keep squirrels, rabbits, and everything else. They're pretty robust netting, but it also filters out, keeps the cotton load off of the machine as well.
So then do you have to go up and clean those screens?
Yeah, they would become part of our, in June and July, we're washing coils about every 3 to 4 days on all of the DX units, including the chiller. It would probably be, with the netting on there, we'd probably be washing that netting instead of coils once every 10 to 15 days throughout that 2-month window of heavy cotton load.
We'll move the approval one at a time. First, the extended warranty proposal for $33,405. We take out capital improvement, the chair and the auditors to sign.
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed. The chiller warranty passes. You're on a roll, Mr. Ingram.
All right. Second motion will be on the approval of the Cottonwood Screens for $16,570. Apparently that could come out of capital improvements too, and that we should have chair signature and finance director signature.
Okay.
Second.
We have a second. Any other discussion on this one?
Yeah, it was ironic when you made the comment that most of the time chillers are on the ground. That was ironic because,
Most new installations are now,
yeah, most of them don't have to get a crane to fix them.
Funny how that works. It has to do with the amount of real estate you have. They had nowhere to put it on the ground here, unfortunately. You look at the available real estate we have around this building. Mechanical went on the roof for a reason, because nobody has to see it, nobody has to hear it, and it didn't occupy any more space.
We thankfully are in New York,
Yeah.
55 to 75 to 100 stories, and it's all on the top of the
It's
building.
all on top because there's no landscape around it. Yeah, that's why the stuff ends up on the rooftops.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed. The screening passes.
I guess I'll move approval of planned service proposal, $4,810. And that's out of the budget that service estimate.
For the chair's signature also.
Is there a requirement of signature on this?
I think there is.
Chair's
Yeah.
signature.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion on that one? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed. That's passed. Anything further, Mr. Grzewski?
Two other points, if I may, just for your information, nothing for approval as of yet. I've been working with engineering for the dome on the courthouse and trying to secure an engineering service in order to, what's our next step forward with getting water ingress under control in the courthouse. I did visit with JLG yesterday. Sean, sorry, his last name escapes me at the moment now. They have, Mike McLean had assigned it from JLG to come over and assess. They have tactfully bowed out pending. They will give some engineers, they will pass on some information on engineers who handle more historic restoration than what they would be familiar with on the issues that we have in that dome. I have been in contact with Brian Blocky from Renovation Historic Exteriors. It's a firm out of Chicago that Mr. Ford heard from, and we've conversed on the phone as well as emailed a couple of times. They are genuinely interested in it. They're working in Roseau, in Roseau County, in a county in North Dakota that I don't have at the tip of my tongue right now. And they're working with the University of North Dakota on some of their historical buildings on maintaining the integrity of the historical significance that's there, as well as getting them up to a construction standard that they'll be there for another number of years. They will be here on May 23rd to visit with me and get their eyes on it and make recommendations at no charge to the county at this point until services that would be proposed would be approved by the commission after that point. There's JLG did make a recommendation of Dunwoody Miller of Minneapolis, who I'm waiting to hear from as well. So we have multiple possibilities of firms that could give us some good information on proposals of where we go next as far as for engineering services and what needs to be done. You all received pictures of what we're dealing with in the dome in email. It's not new. It's been there for years, and it just needs to be, in order for the integrity of the building not to degrade, it needs to be addressed. Not with tarp schools and something else. So that is more to come as I get more information. And then Mr. Ford is aware that we had to do some more repair work on the DX units on the courthouse in order to get cooling working again for the summertime air conditioning loads. I wanted to apprise you of the R22 units, which all three of the courthouse units are R22. R22 has been engineered obsolescence for about 3 years now, where it's becoming more and more difficult to get, which drives the cost up of that Freon. Today's market price on R22 is $114 a pound. And they fixed one leak and put 93 pounds in last week. Plus the labor of having the techs here. So I haven't received the invoices yet, but do the math, it'll add up. And that will come down the pipe on that one as well. More information to follow.
Okay, any questions?
Question was, do you remember, was that Chicago company, is that the ones that did Hillsborough courthouse?
Miller Dunwoody was the engineering service involved with Hillsborough was Trail County. The contractor that did the work at Trail County was from central northern North Dakota. I can't remember what town it was now. I'd have to look back in the emails, but Miller Dunwoody was the company that provided engineering services for that. Which
They're
is
out of Carrington, Bill.
out of Carrington.
Yes.
Okay, that's the contractor who done the work. And JLG is one that also recommended them to, when I hear from a contact from them, pending their availability to come and make recommendations, they're on the list of my contacts right now. Any other questions?
Just a comment, I was recently at the Human Service Zone Board meeting and we were downstairs in Mr. Pickett's office and the conference room, it's really loud in there. Is there anything to do to mitigate some of that noise?
I believe the noise that you'd be referring to would be coming from the electrical mechanical room, which is right on the other side of the door there. It is considered an egress point for that conference room, so to put something on that door or to block that door with anything would be heavily frowned upon by the fire marshal or anything. Unfortunately, all the high voltage for the building comes in right on the other side of that door. On top of that, the jockey pumps for the fire suppression systems are running right on the other side of that door, maintaining on all the sprinkler heads, maintaining 160 pounds balance on every floor. So, obviously 6th floor fire header, the pump is running harder than it is for on 1st floor. So all of that's happening just on the other side of the door, unfortunately, from that conference room. So to answer your question, it'd be very difficult to do much there, unfortunately. Probably one of the reasons why that room wasn't heavily used before.
We may have to invest in some gear.
I haven't seen that room, but no sound baffles could be installed inside the room.
You might be able to put some sound attenuation up either around the perimeter of the walls or along the ceiling. But nothing could be done with that door, and that's where the majority of the sound is coming in. It is a firewall there, so it is quadruple 5A sheetrock as well as insulated in the studs. So it's a significant wall there for an interior wall. The downside of it is there's an egress door in there, and most of the noise comes through that door.
Well, if you have any ideas, that would be great to talk to Mr. Pickett.
Anything else?
That's all, thank you.
Thank you.
I think Ms. Nelson, are you up next?
Yes, there is an additional resolution for limited tax capital project funding bonds for approval. It's up to $35 million. It's for the juvenile detention, correctional center expansion. And if you approve this, it will be published in the paper in a 60-day timeframe starts. And we cannot issue bonds until after that, after it's been published for 60 days.
And Ms. Nelson, indicated to me, we talked about 30 million on the project. This request is for 35. Not that we have to go there, but you can always go below, but you can't go up. So that's why it's set a little higher.
Yeah.
Right.
Correct.
Okay. Anyone wish to make a motion to proceed? Yes.
I would move approval to proceed.
Okay.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Ross. Do we have any other discussion on this matter? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is approved.
Thank you very much. I'll send it to Harold tomorrow.
Okay. We're down to Mr. Ford, Director of Administration.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chair and members of the commission. Sorry, I can't be there in person today. A few things for the board's information. First should be a letter from Ms. Karma Hansen, Safe Kids. That is a letter that needs to be signed by Chairman Falk. It just states that the county is aware of the grant Safe Kids program is receiving from the state of North Dakota. That the program benefits the county of Grand Forks, and that the work they're doing is beneficial. So we're probably going to have to do these letters, Mr. Chairman, annually. If you recall, Safe Kids had some funding reduction, and so they went to the city of Grand Forks and they came to the county of Grand Forks for funding to supplement that income loss, and then this grant is also helping them supplement that income loss. So just need a chair's signature on that letter. This doesn't make us liable for anything. We're not obligated to pay anything back. We're just acknowledging the program and it benefits the county.
Would anyone want to make a motion to approve the chair signing the grant application for the Safe Kids program with North State Department of Transportation? Thank you, Commissioner Knopf. Second, anyone? Second by Commissioner Ingen. Any further discussion on that matter? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, Mr. Ford, anything else?
Yes, sir. Tomorrow is May 18th, I believe. A2S, who we hired to do the structural site survey of the parking ramp, they're doing a walkthrough of the ramp tomorrow night. That being said, with more of the mounting maintenance issues, and this is just for information today, I'm not asking for the commission to make a decision. Tomorrow's department head meeting, I'm going to discuss with the department managers the idea of an increase in our reserve parking permit fees. We're at $35 a month, and I think with the ongoing maintenance and the I would say in expected cost for more maintenance, I think the county needs to visit that subject. The city right now, their monthly fees for a reserve spot are $60 a month. I'm not suggesting the county go that high, but just want to put that on the commission's radar. We'll discuss that at tomorrow's department head meeting. And eventually I'll bring back a recommendation to the commission on the parking ramp fees.
Mr. Ford, how many reserve spots do we have, if you know?
How many reserve spots? Mr. Chair, I will have to bring that information back. I have the information, just not in front of me.
Okay, that's just curious. So,
yes, sir.
Any questions on this matter? Okay, anything else, Mr. Ford?
Yes, sir. I want to just do a follow-up to the home rule survey that the home rule committee has been discussing. The commission at the last county commission meeting approved up to $12,000 for mailing and printing costs. $8,000 was expected for the printing of the postcard. I did get one estimate back today. I'm waiting on another, but I'm happy to say the estimate is $2,932, significantly less than $8,000. So I'm working with this printing company on what the postage costs could be. And once I have more information, I'll keep the commission in the loop, but I'm hoping we can get that survey out there first week of June. I'll need to take it back to the Home Rule Committee first, Charter Committee, for their thoughts. But some good news on the cost there. It's significantly less than we were budgeting for. And the last thing, Mr. Chair, the special meeting on Friday, we have all the necessary documents and contract between the county and construction engineers for the juvenile detention in the jail correctional center project. I didn't want to bring it today because you wouldn't, as a board, have received anything from me until yesterday, and that was too quick of a turnaround. So I'll send those documents out. Ms. Wamstad has reviewed them and has no objection. So I will send those documents out tonight, if not tomorrow, so that the commission has ample time to review them before Friday. And with that, Mr. Chair, that's all I have, and happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
Who's that meeting for on Friday?
That'd be our special commission meeting that we're having.
Two things.
It's item 2.
So, at 1 o'clock? I've got it down, I just forgot, sorry.
So 2 birds with 1 stone, so to speak, Friday. Okay. I guess if you have nothing else, we'll move on, Mr. Ford.
No, sir, nothing else.
State's attorney's report, we don't have one today. She's missing in action appropriately. I thought she was gonna send somebody over, but they maybe were short-staffed. I know they're missing a couple of people, so. Committee reports, Commissioner Peach.
I'll be working with Nick with final reviews of the bids that we've already reviewed. Human Service Zone Board meeting was just held. The first and second floor has gotten new carpet, and they will be painting some of the first and second floors to give it a little bit of color. We no longer have Artwise with the school district here in Grand Forks, but they are going to be running a children's art program this summer. And so some of that artwork is going to be displayed on the first and second floor where the Human Service Board is located. We had significant numbers in our child welfare programs of placements that went up significantly in the month of April. I guess that happens usually before the end of school. We don't have the May numbers, of course, but he did, Mr. Pickett did ask for an additional staff person because we've got so many additional placements in Grand Forks County. So he did ask for an additional staff person at the state level. Next week will be the Airport Authority meeting. So that's all I have to report.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Knopf.
I have nothing.
Hey, Commissioner Ingen.
I was gone for most of this last time, but did attend the meeting by Zoom with our consultants this morning. Chairman Falk did too.
Things are going well up in New York, guys. So.
Very well. And we went to Broadway show. Every cast member, every crew member has to be tested for COVID daily, and you can't get in the door without a mask. They dropped the limitation of showing a vaccination card now, but every member of the audience is masked. So they're doing their best to keep the doors open, I guess.
Commissioner.
Times Square was busy too.
Okay.
I mean, about the population of North Dakota at about 10 o'clock at night when the shows get up.
Thank you, Commissioner Ross.
At the Fair Board meeting, and I brought up the inspection on the main grandstand. I said this is D-Day for them, for that main grandstand. And Mr. Ford's engineering buddy is supposed to come do an inspection on Friday, I believe, early in the morning. So, and then he'll have a report back to the Fair Board. Had a Northeast Human Service Advisory Board meeting. There's gonna be some combining going on with that organization that I believe is gonna take place at the end of June. And the MPO is tomorrow at noon. Other than that, that's it.
I attended by Zoom that meeting with Mr. Ingen. Always good to hear from the generals and George Schlossberg. Nothing big to report there. I attended this morning the Team Grand Forks meeting relative to legislation that's just in the general talking phase at this point, but was well attended. And that's all I've got. Ms. Nelson?
I guess the only other thing, we've already taken care of the safe bids, so, the notice of annexation, there's a public hearing that you could attend June 6th at 5:30.
Okay, no correspondence?
No.
No, Mr. Yes.
I'm just gonna comment, Ms. Nelson and staff and all the people who are helping them get ready for this primary. When I heard the scope of what they have to do to make sure the voting machines are absolutely perfect, I was quite impressed, and they're working hard. So thank you for that.
Yeah, so thank you to the recorder staff and the tax director staff for helping me out. And otherwise, we'd be working all weekend long. And I don't know that we even get done that.
Yeah, it's nice that I was down there too. It was nice to see the cooperation. That's just great. Thank them from us.
I will do.
Anything else before we adjourn? Commissioner Ross, you can be heard.
Okay. Mr. Chair, I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Second, anyone?
Second.
Second from all of us.